Alright, let's read this piece of shit. Let's see how much we're gonna have to shill for Nexon. Maple Memo from the community. That's really cool how somebody is speaking for everyone. Let's see if they do. Dear Savages, while in one sense we appreciate your Maple Memos, the last few have been nothing but one big middle finger to the fans and players of our game. I'm not quite sure how, because they're addressing all the issues that are going on and how they're, which ones they have already been able to address and which ones they haven't, but I'm sure they'll explain it to us. But by a few weeks since the start of the summer update, it's felt nothing short of a screw you, we know better mentality. Again, I guess we'll see why. It goes in just limited to scope, but I still got a few examples just within the past recent memory. What the hell happened here? Not only did you break the class on release, you also needlessly nerfed aspects from the GMS revamp. I like how somebody says needlessly. As if they clearly said that they looked at what they wanted to implement and how they wanted to implement the class. You're saying needlessly because you just want everything to be the best it could possibly be, but balance is a thing. Game balance is a thing. You have to balance your skills. Like, you can't just like blatantly... Every single version of Maple is very different. Has different classes, has different gears, have different attributes. So it wouldn't really make much sense to blatantly copy everything. They already do with some things, like the skill rebalancing from KMS, which, again, KMS skill changes shouldn't always be blatantly implemented into GMS Reboot, for example, because we're just playing a different version of the game. This makes some classes way overpowered compared to what they should be, and some classes way underpowered to what they should be. Actually, everything should be reviewed, tested, and balanced accordingly. They actually did this with Kanna, and now you're giving them shit for doing so. Because some numbers were brought down, and you want everything to be the best it can be. In general, I actually feel like the way they changed Kanna for GMS is, in the broadest sense, probably a buff. But, I mean, if you just see one number going down 50%, you can claim that you are not getting what you are entitled to, I guess. The one revamp was to make Kanna a powerful mage. I agree that I don't really know what their intention was of the rework, and regardless of what it was, they probably didn't succeed because bye-bye farming is better than it ever was, and Kanna is now even more useless as a solo mage. So I agree to that extent that I don't really know what happened there. But this is not a good argument. You need to adjust and buff, and there wasn't even that much nerfing going on. If you look at the numbers overall, it's either a net wash or a buff, but okay. Want to sit up to other mages? Now when James can barely hold the role. She can barely hold the role she had as a support? What game is this? Hang on. What year is this from? What? Is this guy high? Kanna is easily the best support in the game and even stronger than she was before. Yes, some of the aspects actually take some skill now, and you actually need some practice to do it well. But that doesn't mean that you are now a shitty support. What the fuck? Before, a Kanna with like no skill whatsoever could just roll into any boss, charge their domain, and just press bind, and have like a guaranteed 20-second binds, and you would have to do nothing. Everyone would just like... People would grab just Kanna mules off of secondary accounts and just run hard lucid with them and actually clear the boss without even knowing what the fuck the class did. Now you can't do that anymore. Yes, now actually the training wheels are kind of off Kanna, but that means that you can actually go faster once you learn how to ride that bike, okay? She can barely hold a role as a support is hugely delusional. I don't know how this guy thinks he talks for the community, because this is absolute falsehoods. If I don't need to reduce the power of GMS, that's one thing. I don't think they did that. I think the GMS Kanna is on par, or at least, or even a little bit stronger than GMS, but okay. Not good what the revamp sought to do. I guess, I mean, I can see this argument because I don't really know what the revamp was trying to do. But since she's now a more powerful support, I guess their goal hopefully was to make her a more powerful support. I don't know. She's definitely not, like, on par with mages. She definitely isn't. But because of the power in support and in mobbing, she still is, I'd say, still easily one of the more valuable classes in the game, if not like a top 3 or something. probably a top 3 out of all the classes. Maybe I have Haunting at 5% instead of... Oh, because of the boost nodes. People just getting their panties in a bunch because of the boost nodes, right. You really wanted a 7% boost on a 4th job skill and thought that that was fair? Okay. Why the needless nerf to Foxfire? So... This is kind of this guy's kind of like begging the question and putting his conclusion in. It's like, why did you put the needless nerf? So he's already putting the word needless in there. So no matter what anyone is going to say, his argument is going to be, well, that you didn't need to do that, right? So there's no you can't really answer this question. It's like, how do you justify this unjustified act? Or like he's saying like, how do you justify this unjustifiable thing? So very clearly, he's already made up his mind. So why do you even ask the question here, right? This is a rhetorical question. When you're trying to like posture that no answer is even gonna own up to it. So this is a very bad question. So the question should be here: why did you nerf Foxfire? If you are genuinely interested in the answer because you want to have a conversation, then your question needs to be, why did you nerf Foxfire? Not why the needless nerf to Foxfire? Because you're clearly not even interested in having a conversation because you already have your conclusion, regardless of the answer. And this seeps through the entire thing. Also, he's typing in like perfect punctuation. Let's see how many grammar errors we can find. I didn't find anyone yet. I'm guessing that there has been some proofreading here, which is good. We need proofreading in the world. Okay. Moving past all of that, there are still random crashes when playing Kanna. Yes, that is true. The like jumping in the air into, what is it? Exorcist curse into Orochi thing that like still DCs you. However, the person that DC'd landed on a golem, and sometimes just a golem landing on you or getting hit by a golem, sometimes that DCs you too. So it is possible that it's unrelated, but we'll have to get more reports, I guess. And more videos and stuff like that. Hello? I'm dragging it. Yeah, thank you. So you really fixed nothing. From Kanna mains, thanks for screwing us yet again. Well, if you were a Kanna main, then yeah, you got weaker solo. And that I can understand that feels shit if you thought that the revamp was supposed to make you a more viable solo mage, then that did not happen at all. So I can understand that frustration, for sure. I didn't main Kanna though, because like I always say, like the nail that sticks out gets hammered, and since Kanna was already doing so well in so many stages, like if you're always seeking out like what class is like the best at everything, you're most likely to get nerfed at some point, like because you're a bunch of nails sticking out very far, because that's gonna happen. You crash farming? Okay, that's bad. That needs to be fixed ASAP. Fury Totem and Kishin. What was first? Oh my god. I guess what is this take going to be? The Fury Totem is way too expensive. Let's I'm not gonna read. Okay, Fury Totem and Kishin. Fury Totem is way too expensive. It's completely unreasonable. I mean, that's basically going to be the gist, I guess. When it was first announced it would be an item to coexist with Kishin, many were filled with hope, a lot skeptical, and rightfully so. Fury Totem is a joke. Why? 2k reward points for 2 hours, Omega lol. This is such a 3 IQ take, dude. Who do you think the Fury Totem is for? Like, it's clearly not for you. Your mate... This is a Kanna main saying that a Fury Totem is a joke. The Fury Totem isn't even for you. Couldn't even do 1 day? Oh. Wow, shock surprise. You just want more than what you're getting. This is such an entitled post, dude. Ugh. But this is the community, right? This is 500 upvotes. This is the community that we're playing for. No wonder I don't get like 600 viewers. Because the whole community is a bunch of 12-year-old crying whiny babies. Like this guy. I bet this is someone I actually know and who maybe likes my stream. Because people are somehow able to both like my stream and like me as a person, and also at the same time completely disagree with everything I stand for and every opinion I hold, because somehow cognitive dissonance does not exist in the underdeveloped brain. God damn it. Well, there goes another sub, guys. 2k reward points for 2 hours. Oh, mega lol. Couldn't even do one day. I already brought up the alternative. I feel like there should be 2 versions of the Fury Totem. 2 versions. Okay, 2 versions. One is the same as now. However, it only lasts 1 hour. And it costs a little bit less than half. So like 750 reward points. And then the other one is the same as now, except it costs a little bit more. Costs 2.5k. But you can pause the duration. And you can use up to 2 hours within a 24-hour period. That's my suggestion, to split the Fury Totem, the current Fury Totem, out into 2 versions. So people can choose either I do a quick 1 hour session, and it's not as expensive and it's not as committed, or I have a totem on hand to use during a bunch of dailies, and then maybe a little bit of training, but you have the flexibility to use it over a whole day. But then I feel that the Fury Totem should be a bit more expensive to reflect the flexibility that the item gives you. I feel like that is a good compromise, and people are getting way too hung up on 2k reward points being a big thing. I made a video about it, !Fury in the chat, you can go check it out. It is very easy to cap on reward points. Nobody needs all of the Fury Totems every month. They're supposed to be a supplement to help people out if they want to grind more. Most people are not going to need one whatsoever. From the very get-go, Savage Ace said, we don't want to replace Kishin. We just want to give you something that gives you the effects of Kishin for a limited time. I don't know, dude. I don't feel how you can... Everyone's gonna like yell like Nexon shill or something. Dude, I think Nexon does very many things very, very wrong, okay? But the Fury Totem is not something they had to do, okay? They were helping out a lot of people with this. And if you're really, really troubled by how shitty the Fury Totem is, then it probably wasn't intended for you. This is intended for people who barely play during the week, who just log in, do a few dailies, because they actually have like full-time jobs, they have college that they're doing, they don't have the time to play. And then in the weekend, maybe they want to play 2 hours, maybe even 4 hours on separate days. And then they can buy 1 or 2 Fury Totems with the reward points they got during the week. And then they spend those points. And nobody is going to cap on 15 Fury Totems every single month. Because if you would, then you would just get a laptop with a Kanna on it and your second computer, because that would be more efficient. You have the choice there. And some people don't have the choice there, and they at least have the Fury Totem as an option now. But, I mean, let's continue, I guess. Why not 1k reward points for 2 hours? Why not just for free? Why not 100 reward points? Why not 1 reward point, 1 symbolic reward point? Why not 5k? Why don't you just say, I think the Fury Totem is too expensive. You can put that argument forward, and I'll demolish it because it's not. My initial idea, though, for the Fury Totem, or the way I called it, this was like over a year ago. I said it would be great if we would have temporary Frenzy Totems in the cash shop that you could purchase for money in Reboot. So this is like very close to that. I don't know if they took this from my suggestion. It's possible. I don't know. There's probably other people who came with that suggestion as well. If this would be for money, if a Fury Totem for a 2 hour, it would have to cost like, I would say probably about 250 mil to be fair, because that's how much money you can make off of it. Now, what do you think looks better, 250 mil or 2k reward points? I think a lot of people just overestimate how much 2k reward points is. It's not that much. You can get 500 from people who watch every day. And again, if this feels like too much to you, then this item is just not for you, right? This is just the cost that it has. Okay, this item was supposed to help. Supposed. Forgot the D. We got him. We got him, boys. He doesn't like the D. That's okay. Everyone has things that they like. But in an otherwise perfectly punctuated and spelled post, although Omega Lol is not, it should be all caps as well, but that's a minor thing. Supposed to help. Not be borderline irrelevant. I mean, it was supposed to be a niche item. An item is never for everyone. Except if it's CRA top and bottom. Okay? People hope that this would stop the 2PC meta. Why? From the very first post was, this will not replace Kishin. This will be a temporary boost and placeholder for Kishin. But it will never replace Kishin. That was the very first announcement that was made. If you hoped that this would stop the PC2 meta, then you're just lying to yourself. Also, I hate people who just use the phrase 2PC meta. There's also a 4PC meta right now. You know that, right? 4PC meta is inherently superior to 3PC meta, and 3PC meta is inherently superior to 2PC meta. So why is 2PC meta a thing? You can also use 3 or 4. Like this is such a viewpoint. It's such like a victim viewpoint where it's like, well, I don't have 2 computers right now, so I'm playing with a handicap. So everyone else should be getting nerfed, or I should be getting buffed because I'm. It's like, dude, just look at your situation, look at what you can do, and try to make the best of it. Like you can make some constructive arguments and be like, well, I don't like this thing. I think this thing should be changed. But all of this is coming from such an entitled crybaby attitude, dude. It's like, I know my situation is different. I can play like as many hours a day as I want, to the detriment of my mental health or whatever. And I have a second computer, but I could also go out and I could make posts every day about how the 3PC meta and the 4PC meta are so much better, as opposed to just making the best of my situation as well. I could do that too, and it would be similar. It would be equally ridiculous. But I guess if you're trying to Kanna main and okay. Well, something that's ridiculous, it's called a meta, myself included. Oh, okay. We cannot deny the fact that it's truth. Hang on, let me try to dissect this sentence. He thinks it's ridiculous that it's called a meta, even though it's true. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So at the same time, he agrees that it is true, but he also thinks it's ridiculous that people think it is true. So he thinks he's ridiculous. How can you agree something is true and then deny, and then think that people who agree it's true are dumb? Editor and debate, maybe political career? Yeah, maybe. It's not a thing for me, but it is a thing for more people. You gotta press hard, Vista. You gotta contact support, contact Ghibli, make tickets. You gotta get behind it. From what I heard from Limited Paints is that he keeps getting sent from one to the other between Maple M and between Maple Story and back and forth and back and forth. You just gotta make a fuss and you gotta make a stand. Maybe make a Reddit post. Maybe make a post on the Maple Story forums. It is happening to multiple people, and multiple people will have the same issue as you. I get it. You don't want to fully get rid of it. I don't think it's a matter of if they want to or not. I think it's a matter if they can or not. And GMS has very limited things that they can do within Nexon. And the thing you have to look at is a lot of people are very entitled, and a lot of people, especially in the West, like super fast progression. You can't just like take away Kanna Kishin 2PC meta, like whatever the fuck you want to call it. You can't just take that speed of progression away, because the only way you could do that is if you would and not like destroy the servers. It was just to multiply all of the experience that all of the monsters give. But where does that really end, you know? There has to be a point where you're like, hey, you can grow at this rate, but only if you make this sacrifice. And everything is like that. But the quote-unquote perceived sacrifice for getting the growth rate with Kishin all the time is just significantly higher, because Kishin is just that good, you know? And to undercut the value of Kishin by just making the Fury Totems cheaper or just removing TPC meta, then the only argument to that would be, well, then Kishin has to be lowered significantly as well. And then he, as a Kanna main, is going to be hurt the most. So this is a very weird situation that he's putting himself in, because he's putting himself into like Kanna's OP and Kanna's underpowered at the same time. Doing so lowers the number of active accounts, right? Yeah, this is just like a low blow. It might be. I've already joked about this on stream as well, where if if everyone is logged in with 2 accounts at the same time, then the amount of players you can show that are actively playing the game is basically almost double of what the actual amount is. But I feel like this is a pretty thin argument, I guess. But whether or not 1,000 people are playing or 2,000 people are playing, I don't think is that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. Because not that many people are playing MapleStory. If you keep a curve trend that the player count will go down faster than the dislikes on Pokemon Sword and Shield videos. Nice. I don't know anything about Pokemon. Do something right by your community and fix Fury Totem. Yeah, so I don't feel like this is a compelling argument for Nexon to read this and be like, okay, we need to fix this or something. Because I don't feel like this is coming from a point of understanding the difficulties that they have to deal with, and then also the difficulties that the player base have to deal with, and kind of trying to make the best, come to an agreement and come to a consensus. But this is just like, hey, we're the players, we want this, give it to us. That's kind of what this whole thing reads as. It's like, hey, we're the players, we've been used to this, and we need this because this is what we're used to. Give it to us. This comes across more like a demanding child who is like, Mom and Dad, I need a car for my 16th birthday. Get me this BMW. I need it. And it's not like, hey, I understand that we don't have all the money in the world, but I need to get to school and public transportation is just unreliable. I need some kind of car to help me get there. So let's try to budget out which car we can afford together. Maybe I'll get a part-time job, and maybe we can like work something out where you guys pitch in a little bit, I pitch in a little bit, and we get me a car so I can reliably get to school. Like, there is a whole bunch of gray area and like room for discussion that exists, but this is not the way to get there. This is only gonna make this. You know what kind of response this is going to elicit? This is like, we've heard your grievances and we'll think about it. That's the response you're gonna get to this, because this is not really constructive. You're pointing at certain things that are wrong. That's a good start, but coming up with points and coming from an, you catch more flies with honey. It works for everything. Okay, what is the chat doing? Very good job. Yo, what's up, Tiago? PJ Salt is gone, got one droplet. Thank God. Grats, Doof. Just increase the number of Fury Totems that can be bought. That wouldn't really help, because apparently the cap for monthly reward points is 30k, so you can't even buy more than 15. You will have to increase the cap of reward points as well, which they could do, of course. They could do that accordingly. It is possible to get more than 30, but that is once you start going over 30k reward points a month, even for me, that's like a decent amount. So I don't know if they should go that route. I don't like the 2PC meta, but don't make us think about it because I'm managing just fine as a player without it, and I have better things to do to save up for 2PCs. The main problem is that most people don't have this attitude, right, guy? Most people see something that exists that is better than what they have in their current situation, and either they can't or won't change their situation to be improved, so they want that other situation to be brought down to their level, instead of working on a way to maximize their level to get to the other point, so everyone can be on a higher level of comfort, on a higher standard of living. They want to drag other people down, which that just decreases the average standard for everyone. Is Hassel deal with 2 hours for some, but whatever, you have extra mobs? Yeah, no, I don't think that the 2K for 2 hour, I don't think that was the good idea. If the game was hyper stable and, just using things for 2 hours would mean that you have your full 2 hours, you never DC, you never crash, you don't have elite fucking bosses coming into your map causing you to either CC or... Those are weaker now, that's a good start, but elite bosses are still annoying as fuck and they disrupt your training very heavily. If none of those things would happen, then I could be okay with the 2K for 2 hour thing. But the way that things are standing now, and with DCs happening, and like having an option, I think having the option to do like either a 1 hour or either a 24 hour with an ability to pause and have 2 hour reviews, I think those options would be way better and give people the flexibility that they're seeking right now. And it would be, on the one hand, a compromise, and on the other hand, a pretty strong signal towards the community as well, where it's like, hey, we're hearing that you guys are having trouble with this, but we we internally, like, we know the balance and we want to maintain the balance of the game, and this is as much as we're going to bring any concessions. But we are going to bring concessions because you are our community, and you have 500 upvotes for some reason on a post like this. And, you know, on one hand, you don't want to give in to a bunch of crybabies, but on the other hand, you kind of have to if they are the hand that feeds. So the compromise will have to be made eventually. This is why it's so hard to read the subreddit nowadays. Well, subreddits in general are always overgeneralization, hyperbole, memes, you know. That's in general what all subreddits are. So, is that a 22-star Kanna treasure ring? Without potential? God damn. Congrats to that guy. Oh, I'm not logged in. Well, that's awkward. Oh, wait, I should probably... Oh, fuck, I should log in before it says, like, having trouble logging in? Oh, God, it already does that. Well, fuck me, I guess. Now I have to close the game. Now I have to go back to my task manager. Now I have to force close all my Nexons so I can actually log back into the game. If there's anything that there should be a post with 500 upvotes about and that people should be outraged about right now, is the fact that as soon as you close the game at all, you have to go into your task manager to force close everything and find all of your instances of Nexon before you can log back into the game. If anything, that is terrible, and that is really broken, and that has to be fixed ASAP. How expensive a Fury Totem is as a Kanna main, I feel like that shouldn't be like your top priority. But I know, maybe that's just me. Okay, last point, spawn rate and serviceability. Never have I read a bigger file of horse crap from Nexon. Nice, that's a really nice first sentence to start off that topic and to really get your voice heard, because nothing really says, hey, I'm trying to work with you and make a better game together, than calling whatever they did a pile of horse crap. If anything, this is making the person reading this being like, oh, please tell me how big of a pile of horse crap you think it is, so we can work on improving your gaming situation. When you had permakishin in maps, the game felt more stable than it normally does. Wow, anecdotal evidence. That's a great way of a basis. That's, I mean, okay. Okay, well, that solves it. Just permakish everything. Just give everything always kishin. I'm sure that's not going to affect the balance of the game whatsoever. I'm not sure you as a Kanna with Kishin, that's not going to affect your position in the game. I'm pretty sure, you know, the fact that they added Fury Totems with a limited availability for 2k each, I'm sure that the fact that every map will have permakishin will have no effect on that whatsoever at the perceived balance they wanted to put into the game and then just give it to everyone for free always. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they want the game to be. Leading to the evidence that you're wrong about having instability because of spawn rate. Okay. I mean, this guy fixed it. There was permakish, and nobody, for a little bit, crashed as much as before. So that means that instability has nothing to do with spawn rate. This guy just knows better than the game devs who have access to all of the information, because for like a week or so, this guy didn't DC as much or heard about other people DCing. This guy just fixed everything. He should work for Nexon, dude. He could fix the... I bet if this guy worked for Nexon, within a week, the game would be a beacon of stability. We would be the #2 game, because, you know, Fortnite. Gotta be up there. The #2 game on Twitch. There would be hundreds of streamers piling in. Rackful would come back, you know. He would... Oh, dude, he would be owning this game. The category would go up. John Zerka would be booming, dude. He would be exposed for not being the real Tiger, though. Because the real Tiger even would come back. He would drop his job instantly. Everyone would be coming back. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. So, Nexon, as a conglomerate is, Nexon GMS is not a multi-billion-dollar company. I'd be surprised if Nexon... Can we look that up? Like, the budgets for... Nah, we probably can't look that up. But I'm pretty sure Nexon NA is like the smallest of fish, like a shrimp in the ocean that is Nexon. I'm pretty sure. And everything they're getting is being developed by KMS as well. So that budget isn't, which is probably like one of the largest parts of their budget, is even budgeted under KMS. So to say that Nexon as and you're directing this at GMS and at Savage Ace. Savage Ace is not like the producer of a multi-billion-dollar company. He's simply not. So that's disingenuous to put it that way. You can find a little bit better servers that would handle the supposed spawn rate. So that's probably true. So I don't have the details and the insight to these numbers. So I cannot make any of these claims. But from how I see it, MapleStory is very cyclical in nature. Oh, MapleStory didn't load again. Nice. What a great game. Here I am trying to defend the game, and it's shitting the bed nonstop. Cool. I'm not even trying to defend the game. I'm just trying to dispel horribly useless takes, but okay. What was I talking about? Yes, the game is very cyclical in nature. During the summer, especially, and also rather highly during the winter months, when there's a lot of events going on, a lot of people come back to the game. And as a result, demand for goods increase, including illegal ones. And as a result, botting and that kind of stuff fires up again because, people are inherently lazy and selfish, and everyone wants to just get their own progression as fast as possible, and they don't care about the effects for the game, about the effects on the economy. They don't give a fuck about anyone else in the game. They just want to get theirs and then peace the fuck out once their months of playtime are over, and then go back to school, to college, to their job, whatever the fuck it is. So, because it's so cyclical in nature, I really don't know. It seems like you have pretty unique challenges there with what kind of server space you need, and I don't know how everything works with the cost of. So I feel very uncomfortable making any kind of statements on that because I can understand that it can be very complicated, and I understand that I don't know anything about it. Now maybe this guy works in IT as like a, as like an IT degree and has worked in IT for 15 years and knows way more of this. So at that point he can make better arguments than I can, but I don't know how complicated those things really are, so I feel uncomfortable making any kind of statement either way. And let's say this comes with a price. You need to remove Kishin and Fury Totem. I'm sure there are a number of players out there who would be okay with this. Sure. 200 maybe will be okay with this. The game is already... let's be fucking honest. The game is dead, right? During the summer, there's a revitalization. During the winter, there's a slight revitalization. But overall, the game is pretty dead. There's a very low amount of people playing this game. There's very low potential for growth at this point with the way that everything's being handled. Destroying something like Kishin is just really destroying everyone's sense of progression right now. And like we talked before, there's a very big difference between the Western market and the Eastern market. Eastern market is very much more about long-term orientation, about doing things together, about that kind of stuff. And the Western approach is more like, I want to get very strong, very quickly. I want to kill the bosses. I want to see big numbers. I want instant... what's the word I'm looking for? Not justification. Can I... Ooh, testing. What am I looking for, guys? Instant gratification. Right. Instant gratification is a very big thing in Western culture and just in minds of Western people. Removing Kishin or Fury Totem could very well be the killing blow for almost everyone. As it stands right now, the progression towards arcane gear is pretty much a pipe dream for anyone. The sheer amount of hours you would have to invest into getting arcane gear, the full arcane gear set, because getting lucky on hard bosses, because those drop rates are sub 5%. It's terrible. The amount of hours you have to put in now with the nerfed Kishin Fury Totem is horrendous. The amount of... If you remove Kishin and Fury Totem, yeah, sure. Yeah, some people will be okay with that. But those are mainly people who are not playing the game hardcore. And as a game, you constantly have the balancing act. You have the casual gamers, you have the super hardcore gamers, and then you have everyone in between. You have to both make the game interesting for casual gamers, approachable, and give them a sense of progression, which is why you can level so quickly early in the game, right? And you have all of the job advancement, you get all of the new skills. This is oh, new stuff, oh, new stuff, oh, new stuff, oh, new new stuff. And you keep getting new stuff. And you keep getting a feeling of progression. And then once you realize that your progression is slowing down, you're already sucked in by so far. You're in the middle group now. And you get Stockholm Syndrome. And you get sunk cost fallacy. And now you're in here for life. And you're never escaping anymore. On the other hand, the hardcore players need things to push for. And they need those things to be difficult to get, but still possible to get. And without these hardcore players pushing the balance of the game, pushing with the limits of the game, all of the people in the middle have very little people to look up to. Because I don't work like this, but apparently everyone else in the world fucking looks like this. Another reason why I'm completely unrelatable to some people is that people compare themselves to other people all the time. And probably way too much. But people who are in the middle, who are like not the casual type anymore, but they're like in here and they're decently playing all the time, are really looking forward to the hardcore gamers to see the extent of what is possible and what they can work towards. If these people give up your game because Kishin is gone and the perceived value of their time, of their hours, is going down so significantly that any other game just becomes more valuable for them to play, then the group in the middle loses their motivation. And this causes people to fall back into the casual route, and the casual route is where you make no money off of people. And in the end, this is a video game, this is a business, this is a product. Profits have to be made, otherwise the product gets cut. So it is important to make the game approachable, but it is very important to keep making the game difficult and challenging. These things are very important, both of these. So if you cut out either of these groups, if you cut out the casual, you have no influx of new players, community dies. If you cut out the hardcore, you'd lose the motivation for the middle group, game dies out because people become fucking casuals. So, wait, is this guy in the same paragraph saying that leading to evidence that you're wrong about having instability because of spawn rate? Let's say this comes with a price. You need to remove Kishin and Fury Totem to handle the bad spawn rate? Wait, you can afford better servers that would handle the bad spawn rate? Wait, bad spawn rate? Wait, what? You mean the bad stability because of spawn rate, right? But so he's saying that it's wrong and it's not true, but at the same time they can afford better servers to nullify the thing that he says is not true? And maybe even remove Kishin and Fury Totem to solve the problem that he says does not exist and is not there? This guy's all over the place. Of course, 500 upvotes because everyone agrees. In conclusion, I laid a few key arguing... Wait, what? In conclusion, I laid out a few key arguing and discontent player talking points. Oh, arguing points or something? Oh, I think he actually accidentally a word there. A few arguing and discontent player talking points. Oh, he like split up the points part there. I'm not sure if you can do that, but I understand what he's saying. Okay. Since this crummy patch, I mean, the patch has been overall an enormous disaster. I mean, there's something I can not argue with whatsoever. The amount of problems, the amount of post patches, the amount of issues that still exist, the amount of just, yeah, absolute horror. While this should be a time of constantly playing, of grinding, of working towards the, the Adventure Island. Like, all of this stuff should be getting us hyped, and hopefully the players coming back should be like, oh shit, this game is popping, there's so many people playing, I want to play this game forever, I'm making tons of friends, I'm getting all of this new content. That's what the summer should be. So I'm sure that Nexon is aware that it's not going at all the way it should be going, and that they're scrambling to get the game going. But that doesn't take away from the fact that the patch has been a absolute monumental disaster. That is 100% true. This may fall on deaf ears, but maybe not. You always have to throw in like oh, this will probably get buried in the subreddit, or nobody will probably read this, but whatever. Like, that's a little confirmation bias though, because you only read this line in posts that get high upvoted because you only read the high upvoted posts. So that's a little confirmation bias on my side, but I love when they sneak in a sentence like this. Well, nobody will probably care about this, but I'm just going to put it out there anyway. Sometimes the Maple community has made a wave loud enough to make a difference. It happens. I think it has, yeah, for sure. Those who stay deserve some loyalty we show to you. That is absolutely 100% true. However, I don't feel like agreeing with whatever's being said here would be loyalty towards the people who've still been playing. I think all of this just looks very much like somebody looking from the outside looking in, and thinking they can fix everything and be like, well, I have some anecdotal evidence here. I've seen this happening. This has been bad, and having some good points and some just made up points and some self-conflicting, contradicting things, and just being like, you should just do all of these things and then everything will be okay. And to think that you're coming from a mindset where the company that you're advising these things hasn't already thought of most of these things. They've probably not thought of all of those things yet. That's true. You know, because more people, like 2 people always know more than 1, right? But to think that the company hasn't considered most, if not all of these things, or iterations or versions of these things, of tested versions of these things yet, is kind of comes across weird to me, where it's like, hey, just do this, forehead. It's like, well, I mean, if it was that simple to fix a thing, they probably already considered it or excluded it for reasons. And this also kind of reads to me more in the direction of, dude, this music is way too fucking loud. More as like not looking at MapleStory as a product that is owned and run by a company that has a financial bottom line, and more as, hey, this is my pastime. I like to spend all of my time here, so please make it as fun as possible for me. And for the people that are crying the hardest, I guess. You have to take both of those points into consideration. Yes, the game has to be made good for you because you are the customer. Either paying or not doesn't really apply. Probably have a little bit of a stronger point if you're a paying customer than a non-paying. But for both, the argument stands. The product should be made well for you, yes. But also consider this is a game, this is a product, it has a financial bottom line. Like, they have a bunch of other things to keep in mind that you and from your limited personal view, don't have to take in mind whatsoever. So they're doing a balancing act, you're doing a balancing act. But don't try to make it seem that your balancing act is so much more important and that the other person's is so much easier, because it's always easy to judge looking from very far away from the outside, because you are on the outside. You play their game, but you're completely on the outside on how to run a video game. Unless this guy runs his own video game, is a dev on his own game, has a successful game, and is arguing from that point of view, then, you know, a lot of these issues could be, maybe a lot of his arguments are ring way more true. But I feel like he would put that in the opening paragraph if that was his background. But yeah. Sincerely, the Maple community. I like how he signs it as the Maple community, even though he thinks that people might not agree and that it might fall into deaf ears. But at the same time, he's speaking for the whole Maple community. P.S. I heard about some ban waves. Get in on that. Yeah, they already got in on that, right? I think there was already a post on the subreddit by Ghibli. I didn't comment much because I just recently read about it and I wrote this intermittently while at work. But if it's true, Jesus fucking Christ again. Yeah, I guess we could talk about this again for like a few seconds. But whenever you have a auto-banning system, it's always going to have false positives. And again, the only reason... Here we go again. The only reason why auto-ban systems and ban waves exist is because there are people who are trying to take advantage of the game. That is literally the only reason why it exists. And the biggest reason why people are trying to take advantage of the game is either A, just being selfish and putting your own personal interests in front of everyone else's enjoyment of the game, which is inherently a fucking dick move to be, or because there is demand for products by people who answer to A, and they are trying to provide accounts and money and stuff like that for people. Okay? So inherently, this is not so much like Nexon has to deal with that, sure. But there is always going to be auto ban systems as long as there are people who are trying to take advantage of the system. There's always going to be laws, you know, as long as there are people who are trying to break the law and be dicks, right? There's always going to be adjustments in laws. And whenever there's an adjustment in laws, there's always going to be some people that are like, hey, I don't really fall into this category, but I still fall under the law. Like, what the fuck is going on now? And there has to be adjustments. That always happens. If your ban system does not have any false flags, then your ban system is not strict enough and needs to be stricter. And I've had a few people who actually work in IT and who work in bug reporting and who work in this kind of field in the chat confirm that is how it works. This again comes across as somebody who does not work in the field, who does not understand how basic things work, but is just trying to chime in from the background and just say, hey, you should do this thing better. All in all, I think there's some legitimate criticisms in here for sure, but the way that it's phrased makes me not take any of it seriously. And that's why I'm coming down harder on this than I would. Is if it was phrased more reasonable, I would probably agree with like 40 to probably like 50% of what's being said in here. I would agree with. The reason I'm picking it apart right now is because of how it's phrased and the angle that it's coming from. I feel shows very little respect for the people who are trying to do the right thing, and as a result, I don't see this as like a legitimate thing that should be taken into account. Not too much. Some things for sure. Some things in there are still right. But I'm going way harder on this because it comes across from such a like entitled position of like, hey, you should just do this thing for me because I've been playing this game for a long time, and also there was permakishin and people weren't really DCing as much those 3 days. So also everything you've been saying to us was a lie, basically. I was like, oh, okay. And yes, this is actually true. I will upvote this. What? No. I agree. Because of how everything was said, and because of the angle this is coming from, that is going to be the response. Because that would be my response as well. It's like, we hear you crying, we hear you there in the distance yelling about how much you want everything to be better than it currently is, and we're going to let you cry there in the corner, and we're going to figure out how we actually want to balance our game instead, while making a few concessions towards you, but mainly focusing on the reasonable people and the reasonable discussions, and not so much giving in to the people crying the loudest in the corner while they're sucking their thumb. This basically sums up what the entire player base wants. No. I mean, apparently 500 people want this, but again, this is kind of why I might want to look for a different game, because I thought in general, maybe I'm getting like confirmation bias now because of you guys in the chat. You guys are actually like reasonable people and more, in general, way more mature people than this. But I feel like there's a very large chunk of the audience who plays this game, of the general MapleStory community, who does not agree with basically none of this shit that's been said here, especially not the way it's being said. But the fact that it gets 500 upvotes really shows that there's a giant schism like in the community, where there's still a whole group of people who are just, yeah, just essentially whiny little kids who just want to get everything their way, and they just want the best of the best. There are very legitimate criticisms about the server stability, about what the fuck was the point even with Kanna, and what happened, and is that even a good thing? And the point of like Fury Totem is kind of an inflexible item like right now, and maybe we should kind of look into that a little bit. But the way that you call out these things, and the way that you phrase these things, and the way that you're like trying to, it's just not gonna work. It's like it's just a very immature way of going about these things. It's not gonna, yeah, I don't know. It's probably gonna have some effect, but it's not nearly gonna have the desired effect that you want. Again, this is maybe like a little bit of an EU rant, but this feels like a very American thing, where it's like, well, as long as we polarize these things, you know, it's like Democrat versus Republicans. As long as we like polarize the thing, and we just stand in our corners and scream the hardest, then we have a strong point, and then things are going to change. However, you know, if you just unpolarize things, you just become more nuanced, and you actually go into a conversation about what's going on. It's kind of like this is coming from a point where that would be considered like a weakness because you're already losing like your strongest part of your argument before you're even starting the argument. But if you don't do that, you're going to be so fucking hard against each other, and it's going to be like impossible for anyone to get to any point where anyone is like, okay, that's reasonable. I guess we can do that, and the other person's like, yeah, okay, well, thank you for meeting us halfway, and we understand that you can't do all of these things, but some of these things. But some of these things are legitimate criticisms, so we'll actually look into those, and not we'll actually look into them, and not we're gonna look into it. We hear you, because this is exactly the response you get when you are trying to get everything that exists. You're like, hey, Fury totems should just be half the price. You should just buy better servers. By the way, everyone wants to get rid of 2PC meta. And I'm sure that if you remove Kishin and Fury Totem, both of those, I'm sure that a few people will be okay with that. So next one's like, okay. So what do you expect from us to do? Just like Hail Mary and hope that like 80% of the player base doesn't stop playing, and as a result we get no more money, we get defunded, the game has to close down, and we lose all our jobs? Just because you think that that's what the community wants? Because the community doesn't have to deal with the consequences until the game closes, and then you can't play anymore. Like, there's so many more things that go into this discussion. Like, it's super complicated. There's so many things that go into this, but this is coming from such an angle of not like, it's probably gonna be fine. I think people want this, yeah, and everyone is upvoting it because it's like, oh yeah, things that make my personal experience more easy to do. That's always a positive. Ugh. It's really like a lack of long-term vision, which you'd think that people who play MapleStory would have a long-term vision, because this is a long-term commitment, man. If you're playing MapleStory, you're in it for a long-ass time. Communication with players is a hot-button topic for me. I feel like the communication with the players has been probably the best it has been in a while, but it's still nowhere where it needs to be. Nowadays we have an infinite amount of resources at our fingertips, including mass media. Sure. Again, multi-billion-dollar company. It's GMS. It's GMS we're talking about. Okay, this is probably like a $10 million company, probably. So to call it just like a multi-billion-dollar, it's a little bit disingenuous. If you're writing this towards like Nexon as a conglomerate, then you have to preface with that. Like, you're talking to GMS right now. You're talking to Savage Ace and Ghibli, who together probably are like 20% of all of, no, maybe 10%, I don't know, of all of Nexon GMS, okay? So make a reasonable argument. It's not realistic to assume that Ghibli doesn't check. Nice, double negative. The Reddit, we know she does, so I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Savage Ace can see what's going on right now. Savage Ace knows everything that's going on right now, probably more than you. Explicitly trying to pull the wool over our eyes, and it's disrespectful. So, the game is not perfect. The game is actually pretty bad right now. The patch was an absolute disaster. Like, I agree with all of this. But you have Savage Ace and Ghibli are just trying to do the best they can with the very limited resources they have. To claim that they have every access to multi-billion dollars and they're choosing just not to use those, it's so hilariously uninformed. Like, you don't think there are people that they work for that they have to talk to get this funding to fix these problems, and that they're just simply not getting it because of the big company Nexon? Like, you're pointing the finger at Ghibli and at Savage Ace as if they are like the sole benefactors, like the sole management that can decide where all of the money within Nexon goes. But this is just simply not true. When you do get communication, it's half-assed, vague, and automated. I think this is more in response to the support system. I don't know. The support system seems to be a very cheap, outsourced. Yeah, I don't know. The support system could probably do a lot better. I usually tell people, if you have a problem actually connecting to the game, contact support at that point. They're usually very good with like the technical aspect of connecting to the game. But when it comes about like airing in-game grievances or very specific bugs, then usually the support is uninformed, inadequate, or just ill-equipped to deal with that. And sometimes they should be saying like, hey, we don't know, we'll look into it. And most of the time they just give like actually bad replies and just factually wrong replies. And that's something that's definitely so if he's talking about like how support is working through the website, that's definitely a legitimate criticism. Look at the memo yesterday. Oh, he's talking about the memos. Then no, then it's completely not true. Or even worse, look at Ghibli's comment yesterday that boiled down to so what you want, you think you want full transparency, D Omega lol C. However, that could never work. This is kind of like how it works with the government. Like, people think they want to know everything, but you don't want to know everything. You want to be able to feign ignorance on some things, and you want to be able to not have to deal with certain things. You want to have other people bear the responsibilities and make the choices. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Eye in the Sky. It's kind of a terrible movie, and it drags on forever. However, the main theme of the movie is difficult decisions have to be made. Nobody wants to make these decisions. Everyone has to be part of that decision because it's a very important decision. But in the end, nobody wants to make it, but you have to. And I don't think people want to have the burden of a lot of the information that the game has. I don't think you want this. You might think you think you do, but you don't. Fuck your internal discussion. I mean, yeah, this is very clearly a person who wants to have a reasonable discussion. I would skip this comment at this point because this is clearly someone who's just, again, throwing a temper tantrum. There's like, okay, so there's like a fine line of wanting the game to do better and having like hope for the potential of the game. Like, I'm 100% on that camp. I feel that MapleStory is a fun game, has a lot of potential, and is not living up to any of that potential, and is possibly run is definitely being run in a suboptimal way to achieve that potential. However, there's a point where you are just fucking yelling at the windmills, and you should probably just move the fuck on for your own personal benefit and just play a game that you can actually enjoy playing. Because if you're at this point, you're basically yelling, the game is beyond redemption, and at the same time, you're just staying in the community just to be able to complain. And just because of all of the sunk cost fallacy and the Stockholm syndrome, and you're like refusing to see that. Like, it's either one thing. Either you try to keep working productively to try to fix the game, or you just yell at everything and you've become part of the problem. At that point, I think it's better to just not be part of the community anymore and be part of a different game. And just admit that, hey, this game cannot provide the service that I am looking for in a game company, and I'm better off spending my time and my money somewhere else. Like, just do yourself that favor. Or keep trying to work on making the game better, but don't do this. Don't do this polarization bullshit, this I know better than you, even though you guys have been running this game for 16 years. I have been playing this game for 10 years on and off, and I know definitely better how game development works than you guys. You guys suck. Like, that is not the way to have a constructive criticism and a constructive dialogue about how we can improve the issues that a game has. That just doesn't work. That just polarizes people, and that just causes people to say like, hey, we hear what you're saying, we'll look into it, and we're probably not going to do shit with it because it's completely unreasonable, and it's just a rant. The time for discussion was read. Discord was flooded with praise over the Kishin glitch. That was the time for internal discussion and how to move forward. But instead, I mean, the fact that the whole community is flooded with praise over a Kishin glitch, that just shows you that the community is actually rotten to the core and probably at this point, I feel like the game should just be scrapped. I feel bad for me, who built my entire brand around this, and I'll probably have to move on and make some difficult choices in my life. I feel bad for everyone who's still having fun playing this game. But if this is really the majority of the community who are just praising glitches and who are 500 upvoting these types of comments and posts, then I feel like the game should probably just be scrapped at this point. I think that's the best for everyone. Let the cancer community spread to other games. Go play TFT, go play League, go play fucking Fortnite, and then go play private servers, and then have those private servers shut down and lose all your progress there. Like, bring back potable badges. Nice, another amazing take. I'm at the point in my Maple lifespan where I don't even want to read the memo anymore. With the way the game has been going, I seriously have the feeling that I'll be quitting soon. Then just quit. Like, come and yell, oh, wow, that's amazing. Nervous rough. I've been a Kanna main for a while. I feel like I lost so much progress. Yep, that's what you get. Games changes. Characters get rebalanced. Nails that stick out get hammered. That's what happens. If there's anything that Maple has been doing consistently, is that every 3 months, the whole game could change. The meta could change. The viability of your class could change. Always. That's been keeping things fresh, and that's been a major part of grievances. Both have reasonable arguments, but you know what you're signing up for. Now you can't even clear the levels of Lecheline that I previously could, even though I have way better gear. Not can I do Helix anymore. Aw. That kind of sucks. But now you're gonna have to work harder for it. Basically decided to main Pathfinder because Kanna just sucks now. Oh, okay, you switched main, nice. Holy shit, Nexon is a multi-billion-dollar company, yet the servers are this shit. What the fuck? See? And this is actually the stuff that people are gonna run with now. Wow, Nexon GMS is actually a multi-billion-dollar company, and I still DC sometimes, so they are a shit company. They might still be a shit company, but for a bunch of other reasons. This is not one of the reasons. Nexon GMS does not have multi-billion dollars at their disposal, and they're not choosing to put this in arguably the most important thing, that is server stability. Like, that is not any part of the argument. But because this is being brought up like 2 or 3 times now, this becomes what idiots are looking like. Look at their quarterly reports. We're gonna fuck everybody. MapleStory isn't profitable for them at all. It'll be bad investment. Oh, wow. Yeah, downvote him because he's actually telling the truth, and that's not something we want to hear. Oh, fuck. Disingenuous? Is that how you spell it? Shit, I got it. Whew. My third language English was showing. But yeah, this is also Reddit, right? I love this. Oh, just downvote everything that disagrees and upvote everything that agrees, because the truth has to be told, man. Truth, yeah. I spent nearly as much as I did on NX in the past. Thank God for that. But I'm trying to hold off on spending as much as I can bear, because it's disgusting to keep putting money in the pockets of a company who just uses their players as a wallet. Also, why don't people like Sword and Shield? Oh, also Pokemon reference, nice. You know what the fun part is? I've been playing since 2007, and they suddenly decide to fucking ban my account for hacking without any evidence. There goes your childhood and over 3,000 of hours into the game, just throwing it away. Yeah, that's some shit right there. You know the real reason? You know the real reason why this is happening? It's because other people are hacking. That's why you just got banned, because other people are hacking. So yes, Nexon shouldn't have banned you. But it's almost an inevitability with the amount of people that do hack in this game. There's going to be anti-hacking systems. You're going to be false flagged sometimes. It can happen. So do your best to try to get your account back. If you're literally like working months and you can't get your account back, like those people that don't get their account back for like 6 months or something, and then they get like 5 hours of 2x, like that's some fucking bullshit, right? That is terrible. That should never fucking happen. But false flags for banning are always going to happen. It is inevitable. Every game has this all the time. You're not going to find any game that you can play where this doesn't happen. Just make Fury Totem free and permanent. Yes, another great Great fucking insight comment. Yeah, just keep everything just give everyone everything for free always. Just turn it into a private server. Get like rank S nebulites, 4 S nebulites on every item, 16 lines of potential on every item. Keep the bosses to have exactly the same HP. It'll make the game so much fucking better, dude. Nexon has no idea what balance is, how to balance the game. We are the players. We know better. We just want everything for free. That is a great comment. That is a great way to start a conversation, and that will most definitely get you exactly what you want. I'm very glad I managed to quit this game when I had the chance, even though I spent several hundreds of dollars and way too many hours, including entire summers which got drained into this game. So there's like a point of contention, and then there's definitely a point of agreement here. Like if you are playing this game and you're paying hundreds of dollars and you're draining your summers into this game, and after a while you're just not having fun, you're disagreeing with how the game is run, then you should quit. And then you should feel good about quitting. And that's good on you. However, to look back at everything that you did and everything that you spent there, and then to claim that all of those hours were wasted, even though you were having fun at the time, that's some bullshit. This is like somebody getting out of a 6-year relationship and then telling the person, I'm so glad we broke up. I never even loved you anyway. Every single time, every single moment with you was absolutely agony, and I'm so glad that we broke up. It's like, that's not true. You loved this person. You loved spending time with this person for many times, and then somewhere along the road, things went bumpy. You didn't see eye to eye anymore, and you had to say goodbye, and things just didn't work out. And you can be resentful at the end, sure. But to claim that every single instant, every single moment that you spent together, every single dollar and every single hour you spent playing this game was therefore a waste, it puts you in such a bad position. Because if you're looking at, this person looking at this way is very similar to how you could look at a long-term relationship and getting out of it. And this is a very, very unhealthy way of looking at things. You could just say like, hey, you know, I had fun in the beginning, it was fun, but then there was a disconnect between my perceived value and my perceived investment of time and money, and it just wasn't matching up anymore, so I have to say goodbye. Like, that's a perfectly reasonable position to have. But to claim that everything you spend and all of the hours you spend are therefore wasted, yeah, that's just not a good state of mind to be in. There is chance to get unbanned nowadays, there always is. All this false bans I am included in. Make a ticket, contact support, the great support that we talked about. And just do your best. Also, you know, I'm going to throw that in there. Okay, as a player, as a person, as a human being, you have a lot more influence and a lot more, just influence. You have a lot more influence than you think you do. 100%. Everyone thinks, I'm just one little person. I can't do anything. Blah, blah, blah. Why does my vote matter? Why should I even try it? Why should I even try? Blah, blah, blah. You have a lot of influence as a person, okay? If this is something that has happened to you to get false banned, personally, I've only gotten false banned once, and I didn't even know I was banned until I contacted support and said like, hey, I can't log in. And they were like, oh, you're on the ban list, but we'll unban you. And I was able to play again 30 minutes later. If this happened to be for a longer period of time, I would be a very strong advocate for not bug abusing, not glitch abusing, not doing real money trades, not going to any of those stupid-ass hacking websites, not hacking, not botting, not casting people. If you become a stronger advocate for these things, less strict things will have to be implemented because less people will be having a negative impact on the gameplay because you will be influencing people in a positive way. This is something that I'm doing like subliminal, well, not really subliminally, I'm very vocal about it, but the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm trying to mold or trying to help grow the community in a sense of not trying to take advantage of the game, not creating a mindset where you're trying to exploit the game and try to get your own selfish gains as fast as possible, because this leads to implementations behind the scenes in the game of things that will negatively impact the gameplay of everyone else who is playing by the rules. This always happens. False bans are a direct result of people breaking the rules of the game and the game having to respond to trying to ban these people. If you do your part in influencing and spreading the positive message about how you can enjoy the game, how it's not necessary to try to be exploitative of the content of the game, you will create a ripple effect. If every person does this, you will create a ripple effect where there are so few people trying to still exploit the game, that the amount of false bans will inevitably go down, because the amount of bans that will have to be done will go down, and the banning systems will have to be less restrictive. This is just the logical consequence of trying to build a positive message instead of a negative one. You're part of multiple false... that's just being facetious. You have more random ass crashes since the Kanna fix than you did before. Yeah, Kanna's not in a good place. Still needs to be fixed. I quit 2 years ago. Nice. Why are you still in the subreddit if you quit 2 years ago? Please more people quit so they will do something. Yes, please do. Tell me how the game has gotten exponentially worse since I quit a year ago. Why are these people... Why do you quit a game? Like, quit, you know? And then frequent the subreddit still. Kind of feels like you haven't really moved on at that point, huh? Funny how CM Ghibli will respond to a silly, nonsensical post any day, but when a post like this gets popular, they are nowhere to be found. Huh. It's almost as if a funny post can just be reported on with like a with just a single message to be like, oh, that's very cute, or oh, that's very interesting. And how when something is like a fundamental critique of the entire game that's being supported by 500 people, somehow you have to actually think about what your response is going to be, and you can't just put a silly post on there that's going to be taken non-seriously, and you have to think about it and have to do some internal discussion about what the state of the game is. Huh. Have you even thought about this sentence before you sent it? This is such a dumb fucking sentence. I thought the same. Of course you did, because you're the fucking OP. What do you want her to say exactly? We already know she can't single-handedly make any... Thank you! Oh. Of course, it's fucking Sam. Finally, a reasonable comment. I was about to say... Finally, a reasonable comment in here. Of course, it's fucking Sam. Damn it, I thought I've knew... Communities for gamers aren't allowed to comment on specific topics, especially... Okay, there's a few more people who actually understand how things work. Now... Oh, wait, people are disagreeing with me. Okay, let's throw in some acknowledgement now. Now I've been called out. Now let's be a little bit more... You know? Now let's be a little bit more extreme. I'm a reboot Kanna main, and I'm done playing with my horrendous revamp. Can we go back to the old Kishin, the pre-revamp skills and rates? Is this an option the community is talking about? I heard about these ban waves. This is kind of like me though. This is me a lot of time. I don't like change. Wah! Like I am like that a lot of times. Change is very annoying. Change is very difficult. I totally get it. Everybody's ban waves, are they only affecting certain classes like the ARC ban waves? Or I don't know, man. Again, this is anecdotal. I'm prefacing this with this is anecdotal evidence, so don't take this as the general. What is this amount of children? What the fuck is that? 6 children? I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's the amount of comments below. Never mind. This is purely anecdotal evidence for me, but I have a level 253 ARC. The fuck? I play this game way too much, okay? I do play other characters as well, but mainly on my ARC for like the past year. I don't know, I haven't gotten banned. I only hear about people talking about other people getting banned. But how many ARCs in my community got banned? I think 2 or 3? And in the last year, I probably got like 120,000 views or something? I don't know, that doesn't seem like it's a huge fucking problem. But everything gets blown out of proportion. And then when you blow it out of proportion, people who are reasonable like me don't take you seriously anymore because you're a fucking boy who cried wolf. So you're really hurting your own case. Not blocking C region to be able to play GMS would be POG. I agree. Let C people play. Let the C people play GMS. Free the C people. To be honest, I prefer Kanna prevamp to current one. Oof, not downvoted. People haven't found your comment yet. What a brave memer. Bring back FM. Delusional non-reboot player in 2019. Feels bad. Infamous Donkey minus 5 points. Ooh. Okay, let's see if we can predict what Infamous Donkey has said. Okay. I think he has said, you catch more flies with hunt. No. Let's just see what he says. I strongly agree on everything. Oh, never mind. Except for Kanna changes, she is still broken, just not quite as much as before. Bring back potable badges. Clearly someone who would just use Kanna as a mule or runs a system of Kanna bots. Yeah, because anyone with a take that's different than mine obviously is a subhuman piece of shit who doesn't even play the character. Nice. Am I the only one that just doesn't play with Kishin unless it's with other actual Kanna players to train. Just don't understand the outrage over the Fury Totem. Use it if you want and don't if you think the price is too steep. No one is making anyone play with 2 PCs. Oh wait, this came off as super sarcastic. Hang on. Should I put a kappa in the end to just make it more confusing so they think it's still unsarcastic, sarcastic sarcasm? Okay, so that was a thing. All right, what do you guys think? You guys have probably been spamming comments for like the last hour, and I didn't read any of it. How mad are you right now? Oh no, I missed the thing. Did I have fun? No, I didn't play at all. Fuck. Is the next one yet? Have you thought that you don't get banned because they manually see your name and think not to ban you? Usually auto bans have an element of human intervention. I don't know. I don't think the GMs that do the banning know all of my characters. I don't think so. But honestly, I don't know how that works really. I've been accused of being a hacker because I play Kinesis, but that was coming from people in-game and they've never been banned by Nexon. When I started playing, like 3 years ago when I came back, I thought a lot of people were hacking. But this was because I had my skill transparency turned up to the max and I didn't know what any of the characters or any of the skills did. So a lot of times a bunch of shit was dying, and there were a lot of hackers back then. So I was like seeing everything that wasn't there. But there was like a lot of shit dying and I didn't know what any character does, and it looked like they were just attacking the air. But then I thought of turning on my skill opacity and it was like, oh, they're actually like doing stuff that's killing monsters and it's supposed to work like this. So you've been accused of hacking on an errand because some schmuck didn't know the Stormvac skill. There we go. Glue sniffer. How is that a downvoted comment? Because basically every subreddit is one giant circle jerk. Typically. Unless you provide something that has value for everyone, even the naysayers and the positive ones, you can get like a non-circle jerky comment or post out there. Or if it's like a catchy meme, things can go up there. But the things that usually float to the top are things that talk about how everyone thinks everything is shit. And negativity just always gets more traction than positivity in general. I think you're right to write about people that don't give half a shit. What, me? But these people do give a shit. That's why they're posting on the Reddit, right? If you're going through the trouble of reading that whole post and commenting on it, then you do give a shit, I feel. You don't think so? What's wrong with quitting a game but still browsing the subreddit? I don't know if you're like... I don't think there's anything wrong with quitting a game and browsing a subreddit, but being a self-proclaimed person who has quit the game and then still browsing the subreddit, that's different to me. Like, for example, I don't play... I'm not saying it. I haven't played For Honor in a long time, and I don't think I ever will again. But very sometimes on the front page, I will see a For Honor post and I will click it to see like a nice play, or to see or like a good meme, because the For Honor community has some good ass memes. But I don't feel like commenting on it. Oh, I quit this game 2 years ago and I see the game has completely gone to shit. I'm so glad with my decision. Like, I don't see any added value in a comment like that. So maybe my critique should be more shifted towards, I don't feel like being like, as a person who has quit, like I don't feel like that adds value to your comment, I guess. I would take the comment more seriously if they didn't put that what do you call it, like a prologue, that opening statement in there. What are my thoughts on the whole potable badges debacle? Again, you're caking in what opinion you want me to have in the question there. That's not a question I can answer. What do you think of the debacle? Oh, I think it was great, dude. Like, you're pigeonholing me into a response at that point. Either I agree with you or I look like an idiot. That's like the only two options there. So you got to be careful when you phrase these questions. Just say, what did you think about the situation with potable badges? That's how you ask a question that makes me feel like you generally want me to answer the question and you want to have a discussion about it. You can say, well, how do you feel about this fucked up shit show? That doesn't really invite to a nuanced discussion. That seems like a Reddit question where you just want people to upvote you. That's how I read it. I think reboot in itself doesn't affect its main server, but some of the changes. Very true. That is something I did not touch on at all so far. Non-reboot is way more affected by the Fury Totem thing because people basically only have either Frenzy Totems, which is fucking impossible to get pretty much, unless you break the TOS and you real money trade one. And even then, it costs like the same amount of money as a small car. And reward points are used for so many more things in non-reboot that I can definitely see very much more grievance about the Fury Totem from people in non-reboot. However, at the same time, non-reboot is fucking dead. Fucking get over it. Join reboot. Stop being in denial. You know what account it's connected to? Okay, yeah, I don't know how any of that works, Masta, so I don't know if I was like on the list to maybe get banned and then I didn't end up getting banned. I have no idea. Maybe that's true. Used to meso farm on a blaster in Northern Heights. Wow, how long was that? Like 3 years ago? How long was that ago? Do you think 2 clients would solve the 2PC meta problem? Possibly, yeah. Just allowing people to run 2 clients. However, I think that would create a lot more instability on people's PCs because right now we already have the problem with memory leaks, with RAM usage going out the ass. And they would have to probably completely redo how their auto banning system works with third-party programs. So even though that could be a possible solution, I also see like a bunch of problems with that. But that could be something that could be brought up as a possible solution. Yeah, I know that people mention it from time to time, but it doesn't seem to really bear out when these topics are being talked out. Like more reasonable solutions like that don't seem to really be a part of the conversation, sadly. But saying they don't give a shit about any opinion that isn't their own. Yeah, true. That's what happens to you when you spend too much time on video game subreddits. Are they that bad? I mean, the MapleStory one is kind of bad, but I feel like whenever I post something that's kind of like useful for the community, it does get some upvotes, so I don't know. Just spent 10 bill and finally got 1 line of magic attack. What the fuck? 10 bill? It's a sign, Monkey Stin. You have to stop, dude. You have to stop. Save your money for DMT, okay? Thoughts on potable badges? So my main problem with potable badges being removed in the whole situation is that I don't know why they were removed. We never really got a direct answer to that, and as a result, I don't feel like I can have a really an informed opinion on whether the removal was good or bad. Because I feel very strongly in most things that the intent of an action is the most important thing. If their intent was to do something that ended up happening because of the removal, then I would have to agree with the action. However, since I don't know what the intent is, I don't know whether I could agree or disagree. So at this time, I'm like agnostic towards the situation because I don't know what they were aiming to get. That's kind of why I can't really argue very well in favor or against the whole Kanna situation. Of course, things that crash your character, always fucking bad. However, I don't really know what their intended goal of the Kanna was. Was it like the guy in the post where he said, hey, we want to make it a viable mage that contests the other mages? Then yeah, then it was a shit show and it was very bad. Was it like, hey, we want to make it a stronger farmer and an even stronger support? Then they succeeded in what they tried to do. But I don't know at this point what really was their goal, what they really wanted to do. I know what they wanted to do was to make sure that Kishin wasn't as much of an effect on the serviceability. I know that. And I'm pretty sure that that was successful. But that's the only part I really know. I started really by 2008 and on and off since then. You're never getting very far. I feel like when the game right now is better than you have seen it in previous years simply because of reboot. It sucks that some changes are unpopular, but I've seen much more servers like major Genesis skills most of the time. Yeah. No, I agree. I wish that reboot was never necessary. The only reason why reboot is necessary is because the GMS other servers economy was burned into the ground by botters and hackers, and aided in that by people who were doing real money trade, who were exploitative of bugs, of glitches, of just exploits in general, of doing real money trades, of all of that. And these people helped. Again, so there's the positive where you're like, oh, I don't think my opinion matters, so I'm not going to say anything. And there's a negative where you're like, oh, well, what I do doesn't really matter, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. It's not going to affect anything. Like, that's the negative part of that mental state. That's why I want that mental state to be gone. I want everyone to see that you have influence over situations, over people. Like, you matter as a person. Like, you fucking matter. You're not just one little piece in a you're like one little piece of a cogwheel in a clock, okay? Like, if you're gone, things change. Things might still manage, but things will have to manage despite you leaving, not because of you leaving, right? Like, it'll be worse for it, always. Like, you fucking matter. If you feel like you don't matter to that extent, that can lead to, like, the part where you feel like, I'm just not going to do anything, but also to the negative where you're like, well, I'm just going to fuck shit up and nothing's really going to change. So it are these people that helped destroy the economy of the game for their own personal gain, and that are now looking back and are like, well, this economy is shit, like everything is just bought at Mezzo, inflation is terrible, good items cost like over $1 trillion, like what the fuck. These are the same people who just didn't foresee the consequences of their actions. And it was not their unique actions, but it was their line of thought, and their actions contributed to it. They're not like the sole. I never say that one person buying 5 billion off of a Kanna is what destroyed the Bara economy. I mean, if you're hearing that, then you just got like shit in your ears. What I'm saying is that mentality of quick personal gain at the expense of whatever, and not even thinking about the consequences. That's what leads to shit. Always. How can you see you get over it if your class is nerfed, or get over it, join reboot? Those are kind of meme answers. People have put in thousands of hours. Probably true, yeah. But like I said, if you're playing a character that is like very good at everything, you are the nail that sticks out. And to treat this game like this is never going to change, I'm always going to be on top of everything, that's never really happened. Like, Night Lords arguably have always been in like a pretty good situation in the game. But that's like the only class that's been like consistently performing well. Every other class has gone from like top tier to bottom tier to anything in between 3 times and back in like the past 3 years. Look at Lumi. Lumi was like a god tier farmer and a shit bosser. And now they're actually a pretty good bosser, and they're taking very heavy hits and mobbing. Do you see any people crying about the situation of Lumi? Lumis are just adapting. They're just keeping on. They've been fucked around like a pinball for the last 2 years as well, but you don't hear them. Like, there are ways you can deal with this. Again, like, my main issue is with the tone of things. I don't care that you have criticisms. Criticisms can be legitimate, we can talk about them, and we can have a discussion. But if your tone is the sense of the post, you're never going to get anything done. All you're going to do is polarize the discussion, and you're going to, like, you know, just bury yourself deeper into the ground on your side and not budging. And then the other side is going to do the same, because if they don't do the same, then they get waltzed over. So this is not constructive for debate if you're trying to improve anything. It just doesn't work. So if your tone situation is the most interesting to me, there doesn't seem to be an easy solution. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think there is. I think that's true. What the sad part was, my dual blade main was on Terra burning, and I was almost level 200. Wait, what about it, Max? What happened to your dual blade? Solution to people's complaint. Remove P-Socks. Finally, a reasonable comment. Remove P-Socks. They should upgrade the TOS and code of conduct. I mean, update it? Like, which parts? Dauntless subreddit is cancer? I heard. I actually signed up for Dauntless like pre-beta or whatever the fuck when that was available. But I very quickly lost like interest in that game and never actually ended up trying it out. But I heard from you that the battery-related subreddit is very bad. I like the answer that you do not comment on something you know nothing about. I feel like that's the only reasonable position to have. That if you don't know anything about something, you probably shouldn't be commenting on it. Except for the comment that you won't be commenting on it, I guess. If you want to be facetious. Who the hell waits for proper understanding of a situation before giving a hot take? Oh yeah, my bad, my bad. Yeah. Why wait until you have all the information if you could jump to a conclusion instead? That's a very good point. I don't think they should remove the 2 mesobecs from bye-bye, but they should buff high-level meso farming. So I guess the reason why I would be in favor of removing multiple bags dropping from Malaysia and not compensating by giving more money to higher level areas necessarily is because I feel like the progression we can get through the higher levels is already good right now. So just what I was talking about is the levels of everything. Just getting more money and growing faster isn't necessarily always a positive, because the game and the contents of the game are balanced around how difficult those things. They have a certain difficulty in mind, and just giving everyone more and making everyone level faster and giving everyone more money, that would create a lot more people. Remember, to go from being the casual players, from being like the people who are trying to get the most of the situation and are trying to grow. These people will get stuck faster and have nowhere to grow anymore. And these people will lose interest and go to the middle group. And remember what happens when these people go to the middle group loses their motivation because they have nothing to work towards anymore, and they become casuals. And that destroys your game too. The intended balance you have for this game is very, very important. It's a very delicate balance to maintain. But moving everyone towards getting more and getting stronger and getting better isn't always better. And this post itself was riddled with, we just need to get more stuff. Stuff that needs to be cheaper. Everything needs to be more balanced. You need to just invest your multi-billions into better servers. But there's a lack of understanding of the overarching intended balance of the game. That is very important. It's very delicate as well. You can't just throw around things like, oh, let's just remove Kishin and Fury totems. I'm sure some people will be okay with that. Yeah, I'm sure some people will, but most people won't. And and it's going to be absolute fucking... It's going to be chaos, you know? It's going to be absolute chaos. That is the devil of chaos. And then you don't know where the fuck it's going to go. So they need to do controlled, small changes, which, again, they have communicated this in at least 3 memos, that they are going to do smaller incremental changes, see where those changes lead the game in like 2 to 3 months, and then make appropriate changes. Now, I'm not justifying the patch. Again, the last patch has been an absolute fucking disaster. Unmitigated disaster for the most part. They've been trying to mitigate it, but it is still very much broken. But yeah, you can suggest like a whole bunch of stuff needing to be changed instantly, but that's just not reasonable. It just doesn't come from a place where you seem like you're understanding what the problem is and how you can deal with this. I am so annoyed with this fucking albatross constantly jumping around. Can we have an implementation that pets just stand the fuck still if the character does, unless you have like extended move or something? Because this is really distracting. Okay. You matter, you're not energy. Nice. Pretty stupid. A 145 Kanna can get much better rates than any class. I don't even agree with that. I don't think it's bad that a 145 Kanna can get better rates than a higher level character at the other level. However, how much it is better, that is a point of contention. And the fact that people at higher levels don't see nodes, the chance of droplets, maybe even symbols, participating in content, participating in events, maybe even getting and just leveling, just getting experience. The fact that people don't value those things into a monetary, translate them into a monetary value that gets added to the rates you're already making, that because that mindset is not there, that makes the difference too big. If people had the mindset like, hey, a node stone, that's kind of like, you know, that's like 20 mil. If I get a droplet, that's like 1 bill in value, you know? Like, if that's the perceived value that people had, you know, if they would just implement like, hey, you can NPC node stones for 20 mil if you want in the game, or you can NPC a droplet for 1 bill if you want to. Do you think anyone would still be at bye-bye station? Like, you have to, it's like a mindset thing. Like, you can have that mindset that something has that value. You just have to tell yourself that it has that value, and you're done. You have that power. You have that influence over yourself. But or you could do, well, I just see the money in the mesos. That's the only number I see. Number to number. This number is bigger. This is better. Like, you could do that. But it's very short-sighted. Again, and MapleStory is a long-term game. Long-term investment, long-term progression. Very, 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 very long-term. Okay? You know what? Ever looking back at yesterday and listening to your input on subreddits today, I've gained more respect for you as a person. If there's anything I take from interactions with you on Twitch, is to keep pushing for positive change in my life and to be more reasonable, rational in my thinking. Right guy, my man. That's why you always play middle tier. Exactly. That's why you always stick to middle tier. Don't stick to bottom tier because you're just trying to get the pity vote. And don't play the top tier because you're going to get axed into the ground. Definitely. Like just above middle tier. That's where you want to be. Exactly. Do you see any people crying about the situation of Jet? No, because we're not loud enough. Well, and also because people have just completely given up on Jet. Even the people who play Jet will be like, yeah, I mean, it's a shit situation, but what are you going to do? You know, we're playing bottom tier because we want to play bottom tier, I guess. Your main account got banned? Oh, shit. Selecting a server? What the fuck? Well, you shouldn't have taken so long server selecting, man. That's a bannable offense these days. Yuka. Damn, rank 1. Easy. I saw your comment, dude. Make GCP meta illegal, but 2 client meta legal? Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to something like that. Oh my god, I didn't mean to click the 4. God damn it. Okay, I got it. It's 928. That's what it is. Shit. Okay, it's 893. That's what it is. 893. I got it. Top 10 incoming. Top 6. Rank 6. Fucking easy, dude. Look at these scrubs here. You must have gay. You must have gay. Oh, you must have gay. Oh. Yeah, I have the big gay, dude. Type 1 in the chat if you have the big gay. Of course, I ran Magnus 30 minutes before doing 5th job. Wasn't planning on grinding, but wanted to open notes. Well, I guess you're gonna have to come back tomorrow. You're creating a new account using a VPN in the Netherlands, which is close to Europe. Wait, you're using a VPN? You know VPN, using a VPN is also against the terms of conduct, right? This is why you could be getting banned, because that is against TOS. Terms of service, terms of conduct, conduct of service terms. I don't know what it's called anymore at this point. Measurement rates at endgame are fine, to be honest. I agree. Netherlands, which is close to Europe. I mean, it is technically very close to Europe. It's so close because the distance is 0 because it is in Europe. Oh, you're using the Netherlands as a VPN. Wait, where are you playing from? Are you playing from Maple Sea, Max Bragg? Oh, no. Oh, fuck, I missed my first. Fuck. I missed my first fuck. I did, actually. I missed my first fuck twice. I got offered sex twice, and I declined both offers. How dumb am I? Shit, 2 triangles? This is gonna be easy. Look. 268. It's gonna be right. Fuck. It's not right. 249. That's what we're gonna go with. That's what I'm gonna go with, okay? Either like it or you don't. That's a cross. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to rethink. Okay, let's say the 6 is right. 6 is right. 3, 6, 7. Oh! How am I? It hurts to be this good sometimes. Give holy symbol the real one meso percentage. Ooh, I think that's a good one. Do I stream full time? Kind of, yeah. Basically, yeah. Yep, I did. But basically, yep. I sure saw it. Let us NPC stuff. I agree. What's up, Nate? How you doing? I would go crazy at Lachaline. Yeah, dude. If I can NPC a droplet for 1 bill, I'd be all over that. There you go. They could give nodes an NPC value for reboot. Yep. Exactly. They should do that. You have the... I have the power. Ahem. Hero. Ahem. What about heroes? So heroes have the thing where we talked about before, where the balance is coming in from non-reboot KMS, and because of how the servers are different, And I've always also said this, we should not be blatantly copying the rebalancing of KMS non-reboot into everything else, because that will have unintended consequences. Shit. Shit, that's not right. That's not right. It's 764. I clicked the 7, dude. Oh, it's not right. Shit. One is right. One is right. 6 is right. Fuck, 684? No. 675. Easy. This game is too easy, dude. Hi, Zelbix. Assuming because I don't know if your totem being what it is now is the best solution, how would you propose to fix what people associate with it, which is, in my opinion, 2PC meta? People need to... So this is just a fundamental problem, Shuhai. People need to stop comparing themselves to other people or to what could be but can never be. Like, you just need to stop. Like, I could spend my whole life being so jealous about how rich people have, like, giant fucking cars and always talk about how unfair it is that I don't... like expensive cars. And how unfair it is that I can never drive one of those expensive cars because I can never afford one. And how about those cars should be made more cheap. And how about the rich should be taxed more so they can never buy one. Or I could just move the fuck on and buy the car that I can buy and try to enjoy that. Like, living your whole life trying to achieve what someone else has achieved without any kind of consideration for how much they might have had to work, what their personal situation was, what your personal situation is, any kind of unknowns that could be there, which is millions of variables. It's just a very, I feel like a very toxic way of looking at things. So it's a very fundamental thing that I feel would have to change on why people would move away from 2PC meta. Am I Canadian? What's that question about? No, I'm definitely not Canadian, no. Wait, what time is it in Canada right now? I guess I could be Canadian, time zone-wise. You never use a VPN on MapleStory, so you're using it for the first time? Okay, well, be aware that it is... you're in Canada? Wait, why are you using a VPN in Canada? Wait, are you trying to play on Maple Europe? What are you doing, Max Bragg? Why are you not just playing on GMS Reboot or something? You're in Canada using a VPN to the Netherlands to play on GMS so you can have bad ping to GMS where you're already in? I have no idea what's going on. Scardor, got him. Never noticed that people think the wrong way about you in other streams? I've noticed that people think the wrong... yeah, I mean, if you don't want to explore what my opinion actually is or ask me any questions, then you can believe whatever the fuck you want about me. And then you can grow this kind of completely wrong straw man of me and then attack that one. But then you're not really, like, disagreeing with me. The fuck do you know what the number is? So whenever you put in a combination on top, it shows you how many numbers are correct and in the right position, and how many numbers are correct and in the wrong position. Or across if none of them are right. And based on that information, you can exclude certain combinations, and you can include other combinations. And then based on what you... based on the results you get, you can narrow down what the combination has to be. I think I called you Nate. I did not. I called the fanboy Nate. I called you Itamar. What's up, Itamar? Let us buy droplets from an NPC for 1 bill each. Both. You'd be able to sell your droplet for 1 bill, or you should be able to... Well, you probably should be able to sell it for 500 mil and be able to buy it for 1 bill. I agree. Let it be so. So Hero is getting nerfed? No, it probably should be, but it isn't. It's been receiving nothing but buffs in the last month. If Hero is getting nerfed, it's sad. It's not. Hero is like topping the burst DPS charts, has one of the easiest survivability in all of the endgame bosses, and is one of the only classes that is able to solo endgame content. If it got nerfed, it would be justified. It wouldn't be sad. If you're a weak hero, then you just need to get good. You could argue where the nerf should be, though. If the nerf should be like on the top end, on the bottom end, on the scaling, on the skills, you know. depending on how you implement the nerf, it can affect different people differently, of course. Anyone willing to take my choo-choo map in 29? Ooh, in 29 minutes, choo-choo map available. Yeah, I work my ass off for my shit, and I don't throw shade at those who aren't there yet or struggling. How fucked up is it that all of China has the same time zone? It's mind-blowing. Wait, they do? Isn't that country, like, fucking huge? Oh my god, they have one time zone? Wait, doesn't the US have, like, 7? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Holy shit, you guys actually have 7 time zones while China has 1. Get your shit together. And stop dropping my frames, Twitch. I do not appreciate you. I'm spitting some truth here, okay? Don't censor me. This is just the YouTube adpocalypse 4.0 all over again. Stop dipping my upload. I can see you going in the yellow there, okay? No, don't do it. No, don't go into the red. Stay in the yellow. No. What is going on? Is my network being used by anything? Nope. 7% network usage. God damn it. Hey, Rosa Parks, instead of comparing yourself to the white people sitting in front of the bus, just be grateful for your ability to even sit in the back of the bus. Nice. That's a good summary of my position. Is there any way to think this, though, probably has always been around in the real world, though, and might continue to be? There's always going to be some level of pinging, sure, and of comparing to people, sure, because people are like social creatures who want to belong and want to make sure that they're like doing the right things, and we're like tribalistic and we're like trying to belong, and yeah, there's always going to be some level of biology that keeps pointing us in that direction, sure. But it's also very important to be like cognizant that that is a thing that you just like naturally have, but it isn't necessarily that it's not just positive because it's natural, but because it is natural, it's something that you have to be aware of and know that it has positives and negatives, and try to remedy the negative consequences while using the positives. Okay, my upload is going like red, yellow, green, yellow, red, yellow, 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 green, red, yellow, green, and it's really annoying. Please just stay green and stop distracting me, like the pet that was flying around. Look, I know it's bad, I just want to try new things out in my life. Okay. You never heard the Maple Story on Europe. Okay, so you're in Canada, you're using a VPN to play as if you're from the Netherlands on GMS Europe. Okay, well, good luck playing with the other 4 people there, I guess. Do Night Lords need Mihail Link? I mean, I think they do, but whenever I play Lucid with a Night Lord, it's like playing fucking Tristan Pinball, or like whatever other pinball game you guys had on Windows XP, because they be flying around the map, dude. Especially now that Lucid is always enraged. There's many more golems that spawn, so I would say, yeah, you do need it, but it seems like a lot of people don't have it. Yeah, also you don't need a VPN to play on EU servers, but if you use one, you'll have lower ping because it'll appear that you are from like inside EU. If you're playing on EU from Canada, you'll just have shit ping. You'll have like 200 plus ping. Just be having with a Fury Totem then, since I don't want to, or have to be 2PC meta. Yeah. Hero nerfs in 2K19 lol. There's only been buffs, dude. Nightlord needs a nerf. Well, they've gotten one like recently. The thing with Nightlord is they're very hit or miss. They're like very strong in burst, but then kind of very weak outside of it. Their mobbing is fine though. So Nightlord is like, yeah, they're like almost like deadweighty punching bag outside of their burst, but their burst is so insane that it compensates for it. I think with how their survivability is not that great, with how the bosses got more difficult, with how the bursts got shorter because of how the binds got shorter, and how they got nerfed on the upper end because of their amount of lines and the final damage multiplier there. I think the nerf was good and fair, or what happened to Nightlords was good and fair, and they're in like a more of a healthy position now. Of course, that's shitty. That sounds shitty coming from if you're a Nightlord player, because you just see negatives. You see like, oh, I'm weaker now. That's negative. But the way you have to stop seeing like weaker as negative and like stronger as positive. Because it's not, that's just not how things work.